And I know in the latter years, that's when you were getting ready for the Queen Elizabeth competition in 2015, where you were awarded third prize. So, can you talk to us a little bit about that whole process of, starting exactly from the moment that you decided that you were going to apply for the competition all the way up until through the finals where um, you performed in the final round of Tchaikovsky concerto, excuse me, and just talk us through that whole process in the final round because I know it's a little unique compared to other international competitions. So.
For sure. So I think my Queen Elizabeth competition experience really blends together with my whole competition doing experience. And I feel like competitions are kind of like the soloist version of orchestra auditions. And in many ways, they're nowhere near as hard because you're playing the whole piece through.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at Queen Elizabeth competition, it's for a good audience, like a big, well-attended audience. Most competitions, it's for a really sparsely attended, So the Queen Elizabeth is really unique in how well it's attended, and you totally feel like a celebrity when you're there and taking part in the competition. It's just a tradition in Belgium to watch that competition, and so it's a level of classical music celebrity that really hardly exists elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just the most exciting thing ever. The hardest round is the tape round. The second hardest round is the first round. Third hardest round is the semifinal, and the easiest round is the final, and that goes for any competition.
Oh, wow.
Because you've got so many people, and there's so many good violinists, and I just found, first of all, it took forever to get into a competition. Your playing matters, your tape matters, but what really matters even more is if they say, past prizes, and if you have a prize. So I think what got me into Queen Elizabeth was winning second prize at Chrysler competition.
Okay.
In Vienna. And I had kind of started to do competitions, and I had bad luck. I did like this, or not bad luck. I just, didn't get, I hadn't prized yet. I did a few competitions. I didn't do as many as some people have done. And just before I go on, I just want to say a lot of people are so anti-competition. Oh, you can't do competition. It's a sporting event and everything. It's bull crap, because you need, I don't know, where else are you going to get a performing opportunity like that? Where else are you going to get a high quality video of your playing, which we all need if we're trying to, get our name out there? You're going to meet people, possible teachers, if I want to study in Europe, there's often a European judge on the jury and everything. So anyway, I think that the anti-competition talk is all valid for obvious reasons, but you can't criticize people for doing a competitions because you get to tour the world, learn repertoire, and do all this stuff. So anyway, I had really bad experiences with competitions and awesome experiences. And anyway, so I got into Queen Elizabeth. Can't remember what other competitions I had just done before that. But anyway, I remember seeing other competitors on the list and thinking, okay, this person is definitely going to place in the top 3. I just don't know if it's going to be first, second, or third, just depending on how the jury hears this person. And then that person didn't pass the prelims.
Oh, wow.
Or, like the first round.
Right.
The first, and there were multiple people like that, and that's just how competitions go. So my Queen Elizabeth experience, I play how I play. I think that my level, you can think, oh, I played way better at Queen Elizabeth than I did at this other competition where I got booted from the first round. I'm not so sure. So I think the jury just heard me in the right way for 3 rounds. Most competitions, like I said, you go into the first round, you play, and there's nobody in the audience. It's the jury, one mother and child, really intense violinist, young student who wants to go see a bunch of good violin playing, and then maybe your mom, if she's free to come to the competition. And, that would be the whole audience in this like empty concert hall. So not a fun place to perform. Queen Elizabeth, first round, I almost did it. Like, I almost gasped when I came out on stage because it was like packed.
Mhm.
To hear me play Paganini Caprices in like one movement of the Schubert Grand Duo, I mean, it just, that's pretty amazing.
Right.
That level um, of dedication from the audience. I mean, it's really inspiring to play there. And great halls, great halls. It's the first two rounds were at Flagey
Mhm.
in Brussels, which is a great hall. Anyway, and I was really prepared for the competition. You asked to talk about kind of the preparation of the competition. If you want to do well at a competition, at an audition, at a whatever, the most important thing is to just play to your strengths.
Mhm.
So like when I applied to Juilliard, I applied with Bruch G minor concerto, and a lot of people would go, "Oh, that's a student concerto, or that's not the big boys like Sibelius and Tchaikovsky and whatnot."
Right.
But I think I was able to show my best playing on it, and so it worked.
Mhm.
And by the time I was in the final of Queen Elizabeth, I'd played Tchaikovsky more than other concertos,
Mhm.
and I had more experience with it.
Sure.
I had kind of lived with it. And most importantly, I felt super confident in my Tchaikovsky, and I was excited to perform it.
Mhm.
And that's kind of that's what you need going into a competition or a performance or anything. There's no real difference in preparing for a competition, because the honest truth is that I've had weeks in my professional life that are way harder than Queen Elizabeth as far as the amount of repertoire I'm juggling. And I mean, everybody goes, "Oh, it's just unbelievable, this repertoire." It's like, check out Josh Bell's schedule, check out Hilary Hahn's schedule, check out any touring artist's schedule. It's often way harder to be a touring soloist, like way harder. We had a week in between each round. I mean, it would be a completely normal month to do that competition. It would be in some ways luxurious, you know. It's not to say it's not hard. It's just to put things in perspective. We often say, "Oh, it's just the most impossible repertoire list." It's really not. If the object of the competition is to find somebody who's going to be a soloist. Anyway, so I was really well prepared because I had at Colburn we have performance forum and studio class, and I had done studio class and performance forum. I played my whole program 1,000 times. I did a bunch of, it doesn't matter if you just are playing for one person, but I did public performances of every piece. And so I was not playing anything for the first time. That'll change in the final round, where you have to play a contemporary piece. I hesitate to say this, but I don't think the composer is gonna watch this. It was my takeaway from the modern piece was that Marin Alsop is amazing. She was so great at helping us through that. It was a very stressful thing to have to put it together. Do I think that the performance of that piece really was what people were listening to? Not really.
Yeah.
It was mainly the Tchaikovsky. So I think actually a big reason why Queen Elizabeth does that is to kind of like throw you off balance in your preparation. So you're not just practicing your concerto for a week, which is so luxurious. Can you imagine? I had no cell phone. I had no no contact with the outside world. Can you imagine how good your practice is when you literally can't? I mean, it's like a month of practice in the real world. So I had no distractions. And if you had that long on a concerto, I mean, it would just be, it'd be luxurious. And so I think a big reason why they do that modern piece is, I think sometimes they're doing commissions and things like that, and that's exciting. But I think that it's also just to really make sure that you're stressed. And it worked because it was a really hard modern piece.
Yeah.
And like I said, Marin Alsop was just amazing in helping us through that. Everybody came away like, wow, she's great. She made you feel like even if you were gonna mess up, she would just be there. It was like, I don't know, you felt kind of like a pop star with a backing orchestra, you know,
That's funny.
like they're just gonna be there.
Right.
You're gonna do your thing. I mean, it was fabulous conducting and fabulous, warm. I just can't say enough good about her.
Mm.
And then the Tchaikovsky was so much fun,
Yeah.
so much fun. And again, another great hall. And it was, yeah, it was just a really, really good experience. And living in Brussels for like a month, my only experience in Europe before that had been like one family trip, which was really fun. And then I did Chrysler competition, like I said, which was fabulous experience. Also, getting to play in amazing halls and stay in one of the world's great cities. So anyway, Queen Elizabeth was so exciting, so thrilling, kind of an otherworldly, dreamlike experience that I think back on, kind of a real highlight of my life.
Yeah.
And really, yeah, just really fun.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, just kind of going back to the final round, because like you said before, when you make it, they start taking contestants to the chapelle where they're isolated, right?
Yeah. So I didn't talk about that enough.
Yeah. No. Well, and I just wanted to ask because, like, isn't it like they put you in the order that you're gonna perform in the final round? So, like, is it usually like a week before, then they take you, and then you're just isolated with other contestants? And
yeah. So I was like right in the middle of the week, and the guy that I arrived with was Alexei Semenenko, who is such a great violinist and such a nice guy. We got along so well. We've never played together since then, which is a bit of a tragedy. I also just all of the finalists have gone on to do exciting. I mean, the lineup was amazing.
Yeah.
Stephen Wartz and I both went to Kronberg together, so
Right.
I've played with Stephen a lot more than I have with the other finalists. Actually, no, that's not true. Fumika also.
Oh, yeah.
So Stephen, Fumika. It's been so long. It was Stephen and Fumika who ended up at Kronberg together. So I played with Stephen and Fumika quite a lot. The other contestants I haven't really played a lot with, but they've done such exciting things. One is, they're concert masters here, and they're great soloists and everything. And I just feel really honored to have been part of that group. It was really thrilling. But yeah, you arrive in pairs and like for a week. So if you're going to perform on Monday, you arrive on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on. And so the night before the final is a really, really fun night because everybody's there. And so it gets more and more fun to be at the chapelle, and then more and more sad to be at the chapelle. And most people by the end are they cannot wait to be done with it because it's there's so much anticipation on it. It's not a normal concert. It is so not a normal concert. And actually, that's one of the other reasons to do a competition like Queen Elizabeth is nobody will listen to you like that for the rest of your life. It's so thrilling that everybody actually cares about every note that you're playing in an intense, fun way. I find, I definitely have performance anxiety, but something about that competition, I just was always it's like if I have a real challenge, then it just really helps me get over the nerves and really have fun. And so I was really just having a whole ton of fun. Of course, I had nerves, but they were really healthy, extra energy sort of nerves.
Right. Yeah. I'm just curious. So, I mean, obviously you guys didn't have phones or anything. What did you and the participants, other finalists do like in your free time besides practicing? Or did you guys all hang out together or what? I mean,
yeah. Yeah, we hung out together. I think the property was, we went, Alexei and I went on a lot of runs together. They let us get around. It's kind of in a rural area or close enough to a rural area. And so rural. Sorry, I'm just reminding me of my favorite 30 Rock episode. Roger. Anyway, so Alexei and I went on a lot of jogs together. We watched such a depressing movie the night before the final. It's called Into the Wild.
Oh, okay.
So ridiculously depressing. It's like a true story about a guy who went to Alaska and starved to death.
Oh no.
That was like my pump up for the competition. Anyway, but yeah, the rest is history. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we just kind of hung out together. They have like ping pong table, things like that. But yeah, as far as what we did, it was really practicing
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.